Hey students, if you're watching this video, you might be having a little bit of trouble with some of the things you're doing in class. You're probably doing a lesson on linear equations, and you're connecting those linear equations to an idea in economics called a budget constraint. And what I'd invite you to do is watch this video and at the same time have this slide presentation open. This is on the web at our website www.nc-citme.com or citme.org rather, and that way you can just follow along and make sure that you're understanding what you're trying to do in class, which maybe you could have missed something that was going on in class. You can refer to this for some help. This is the first of three activities that we're going to walk through, the first of three videos that walk you through linear equations and their connection to budget constraints and opportunity costs in economics. So we're just applying what we're doing in the math class to economics. Budget constraints are a tool that economists use just to show how much a consumer can consume given his income and the prices that he faces for a couple of goods. All right, so the story we're going to tell to illustrate this, we're going to use a guy named Adam. Adam has an income, which we're going to use N as the variable for income, and his income's $40 per month. And Adam either goes to a movie or he goes out for food, right? And those are his two choices. So he's got this income that he earns, maybe it's an allowance, maybe it's money he earns from a part-time job, and he's set aside like $40 per month to go to a movie or go out with friends to a restaurant. So what we want to start doing is defining Adam's budget constraint. And we're going to use the standard form linear equation to do that, right? So this should be something you're familiar with, ax plus by equals c. And that's what we're going to start with. We're going to use that equation to show how much Adam can consume in terms of meals and movies. And for Adam, in this world, there's three different variables that he needs to be concerned with. The first variable that he needs to be concerned with is the price of food. Right? How much is it going to cost for Adam to go out to a restaurant? And then we're going to talk about the price of a movie. Right? And we're going to show that the price of a movie is P sub m. And then his income, right? We're going to designate that with the variable N. So we've got three variables that Adam faces. And let's say, for the purpose of the story, that the price of food is $10 per meal. The price of a movie, P sub m, is $8 per movie. And N, his income, is $40 per month. And we have to assume that Adam is going to spend all of his resources in order to make himself as happy as possible. So in order for Adam to have the highest utility, or happiness as we say in economics, right, he's going to go out and spend all of his income. There's no bank that he can save this in. There's no credit market where he can either put it in a bank and spend it later and earn interest on it. He's just going to go out and spend all that he can right now. And so what we're going to come up with is a budget constraint that shows the amount that he's going to spend on food plus the amount that he spends on movies is going to equal his income. So it has to be that the amount that he spends on food and the amount that he spends on movies equals his income. So since we know that he's going to spend all of his income, we've got to define the terms of the amount that he's going to spend on food and the amount that he's going to spend on movies. So let's start with movie expenditures. Let's let M be the variable that shows the amount of movies that he's going to attend. And let's let the price of movies be P sub m. And right, we said earlier those are $8 per movie. And so if we want to figure out the amount that he's going to spend on movies, we have to come up with a mathematical term that shows that. Right? And if he goes to one movie, he spends $8 on movie tickets. If he goes to two movies, right, he spends $8 plus $8 is $16, right? 8 times 2 is 16, and so on and so forth. So we can show that the amount that he spends on movie tickets is just the product of the price of movies multiplied by the number of movies that he wants to attend, or $8 times M. Right? And then similarly, We want to do the same thing with food. We want to come up with a term that tells us the amount that Adam spends on food, right? That's going to be the price of food, which we said is $10 per unit multiplied by F, the units of food that he purchases. So the amount that he spends on food is $10 times F, right? The price of food multiplied by the units of food that he consumes. So now we've got two terms that have to equal his income, right? We've got the amount that he spends on movies, the amount that he spends on food. Together those have to equal his income. And right, here's the amount that he spends on movies, here's the amount that he spends on food. If we add those two up, they equal his income. So in general, here's our form right here. And that should look a lot like a standard form linear equation, right? AX is right here, BY is right here, and N is the C part, right? So C equals AX plus BY. The next lesson we're going to get to, part 2 in this series, is calculating opportunity cost.